Hello everybody. Today our topic of discussion in digital signal processing is convolution. Few words on convolution on continuous domain and mostly linear convolution sum in discrete domain, as well as this linear convolution sum is applicable for linear time invariant system. How we will going to understand whether a system is linear and time invariant. That is the basic topic of discussion. Now first I would like to explain few words about convolution. So what is convolution? Convolution is basically a complex process of interaction between two signals. So in the time domain. So convolution is a complex process. So what is it? It is a complex process of interaction between two signals in time domain. Okay? Now, what does this mean? Suppose I am having a system. Now, an input is coming to the system. Input I am taking, initially I would like to tell you it in continuous domain. So I am taking a continuous input. So input xt is coming. So input signal xt is coming to the system. Now this input signal will interact with this system and it will give you a output. It will give you a output. Suppose this output is yt. Now these phenomena, the interaction between these input signal and the system will give you the output by virtue of the complex process called convolution. Okay. Now how this system, you will understand this system. What is a system is? We know that a system is basically impulse response. So if in this system I put a impulse as a input, impulse signal as a input, the output from the system will be actually characterize this system itself, and we generally express with this terminology ht. So that means this system means basically this impulse response of the system. So that means from here, from this two figure, I can draw the third figure where I can draw that the input signal xt is actually interacting with another signal, which is the impulse response, and that is characterizing the system. Okay, and in the output we are getting the interaction between these two signal. One is xt input and another is the ht, which is characterizing the system. So the interaction is described by the process is called convolution, and we give this symbol, asterisk symbol, for convolution. So this is basically the convolution. Okay, so it is actually interaction between the input and impulse response of the system. Understand? So this is the basic convolution process. Now any convolution process, so in case of in case of a discrete signal, in case of a discrete system and signal, there also we will get the same thing. The input will come to the system. This input will be in discrete domain and it will come to the system and we will get a output. The virtue of this process where we get this output y, the output y in discrete domain, we will call that process as linear convolution sum. Linear convolution sum. The basic thing is same, there are simple differences. Now, this linear convolution sum or any convolution goes through these processes. First thing is called folding. Any convolution, whether it is in discrete domain or in continuous domain, it goes through folding operation. Another is called shifting. Third is, this will be multiplication. This will be multiplication. This will be multiplication. This will be multiplication, and the fourth is summation. Summation, it is summation for discrete signal, whereas for continuous signal it will be actually, in continuous signal it will be integration. Okay, it will be integration for continuous signals. So, any convolution process has these 4 steps. Linear convolution sum has folding, shifting, multiplication and summation, and in continuous domain we will find folding, shifting, multiplication only. Instead of summation it will give you integration. Now try to understand what is folding and what is shifting. Folding operation. These are very important signal operations, folding and shifting. So, I have given an example to make you understand what is folding. Folding means basically time reversal. In any domain, in continuous domain or in discrete domain, folding means time reversal. Time reversal. Okay, so this is a signal. This is xn. It is 2 1 2 1. Starting from the 0th sequence, 0 1 2 3. These are the sequences. Okay. Now, if you want to fold it, or you want to take the mirror image of it, that will be giving you the time reversal. So, all these will be come to the left hand side. So, if this is the 0, then the next signal, this 1 will come to -1, 2 will come to -2, and this 1 will come to at -3, and this signal will be known as x of -n. Okay, so this operation is called folding. It actually gives us the mirror image with respect to the 0 line, 0 axis. Okay, so this is folding operation or time reversal. Next is shifting operation. So this is the original signal xn. If you shift, if you slide this signal in left hand side or in right hand side, it will be shifted. Okay, so if you shift in the right hand side, that will be called delaying operation. And if you shift the signal in the left hand side with respect to 0 line, it will be called advancement. So here initially if it is delayed, it is expressed with minus sign. So x of n minus 3 means shifting the signal in the right hand side. So that means this 0, the signal at 0th instant will be shifted by 3 values in the right hand side. So it will be shifted from 0, it will be 1, 2, 3. So these 2 will be shifted at this point 3. And naturally this next signal, it will be also be shifted 3 points from its initial position. So it will be shifted to 1, 2, 3. That means it will come to n equal to 4. Similarly, same thing happens for the next 2 signals. So if you perform this operation, that means you have delayed the original signal by 3 units. And for delaying, we go in the right hand side and we use the signal minus. N minus 3 is giving you delaying operation. Delaying operation is good in the right hand side. Whereas if you go for advancement, that means as I have written here n plus 2, that means this signal will be come in the left hand side and it will be advanced by plus 2 units. So it will be from 0, it will come to 2 units in the left hand side. So the signal which is at 0th position will come to at minus 2, which was at 1 sequence will come to minus 1, and similarly the same thing will happen for the next 2 signals. So these 2 operations are very important in context of linear convolution sum. That's why I was explaining these 2 operations. Next. So now we will discuss about the convolution sum of a linear time invariant system. So how we will get the convolution sum? So these 2 signal, you can understand that this is the system. Okay, and this system, I am telling you, this system is tau, is the transfer function of the system, and this system is linear time invariant system. Linear time invariant system. How to understand a system is linear time invariant or not, that we will discuss in this lecture afterwards. But now you just understand that this is a linear time invariant system and the input to the system is xn, and the output, now you know that the output yn we will get only the virtue of convolution sum. Okay, so to make convolution sum, the interaction between xn and the system. What is system? System means you can understand the impulse response of this transfer function. Impulse response of this transfer function, right? So how we will get that? We know that my input, we know that the shifted impulse sequence, we can able to express our input in this form. This we know. Okay, so we can express the input in this form. So what is output? The output is the transfer function. The output will be the interaction between this signal and the transfer function. The interaction between the system transfer function and this signal. Okay, so this is the this will be the output. Now we know that this input signal is not known to us, whereas this delta function is nothing but impulse. So impulse response is known to us. So if we take the interaction between this signal and the delta function, we will get the impulse response HNK. Now as it is a time invariant system, I will explain you it within few minutes that why Hn comma k can be written as HNK. Just up to this, for this understanding, you just understand that this transfer function, when the system is interacted with this delta, you can able to get this thing. This is the impulse response, as I have expressed previously. This will be the impulse response, and the output will become this. Output will become the multiplication between two signal. One is the input, another one is the impulse response of the system, and the multiplication between these two signals, then there comes the summation. Now as I have told you that here 4 things actually happens: folding, shifting, multiplication and summation. How it will, I will explain it to you with an example in another video, but you understand this is the basic expression of convolution sum, and this convolution sum is actually obeying the process of folding, shifting and summation and multiplication. Okay, in discrete domain I will give you an example in another video, but I will explain it to you in continuous domain with these figures. Now you can understand, up to this point you can understand, if two signals are there. This is the first image, it is a signal, and another signal H is there. So what is H? H is the system impulse response. This is the input and this is the system impulse response. Okay, so here now first what we are going to do, we are going for the time reversal. So we are doing folding operation. Any of the signal you can take. Here the impulse has been taken for folding. So folding means the time reversal means like this. So you can understand that this signal is the folded version of this original HT. Before that, what we do, first we transform, before this HT we convert these two signal in terms of tau. So first we have to, instead of xt, we have to convert. This is the first step. We will draw this signal in terms of tau, and this signal in terms of same thing, only we will replace the t with tau. Okay, so this is, next is we will fold this h tau in this way, and it will now become h of minus tau. This signal after folding will become h of minus tau. Now you take two signals, you put both of them in same graph. What will you find? You will find, now you can understand that if you move this signal in left hand side, there will be no interaction with this signal. Whereas if you move this signal in the right hand side, if you want to slide this signal on this signal, you will find that if you glide this signal or slide this signal in right hand side, only two signal interaction will take place. So we want the interaction of two signals. So what you are going to do? You are going to slide this in the right hand side direction. So when you put it here, like you are getting this part of interaction. If you shift it more, you will get more area under the curve that they are interacting. And if you put whole of the signal, you are getting this area under the curve. That means this signal and this signal, these two signal, they are common area between x and h of t minus tau is given you with this green part. Okay, so what actually happening here? Here each and every point of signal, they are basically interacting. That means they are multiplied, and the new nature of the signal what you are getting will be integrated with respect to time. And then after this folding, shifting and multiplication and integration, you will find this sort of curve. This is basically the interaction between these two signal, and it has been it is actually following the notion of convolution. So the way you will get convolution, if you analyze it with the help of mathematics, you will understand basically the folding operation, the shifting operation and multiplication between two signals and the area of interaction which is got by virtue of integration has been taken place to get the final output. Understand? Okay. Next, I will tell something about the linear time invariant system. I will tell something about how will you understand the system, as we have taken the convolution sum in a linear time invariant system. How we will understand that the system is linear. First thing, for a system to be linear, it will obey the theory of superposition and homogeneity. So what does that mean? Superposition means you can able to understand that the individual response, if you sum them up, all the individual response will give you the overall response. So if you have, obviously you know that in case of superposition, to test superposition we need more than one input. So we are taking the signals x1 and x2. Okay, so we are taking x1 and x2 two input signals as a reference of superposition, and homogeneity is basically they can be put anywhere, like this linear coefficient a1 and a2, they can be put anywhere if the signal follows homogeneity. So this is basically the expression it will follow if the signal is linear. Okay, I will explain it later with a certain diagram. Before that, how we'll understand a signal is linear time invariant? So in case of invariant system, the output remains same for input signal is delayed by certain unit as well as at non-delayed condition. That means if the input signal is not delayed, whatever be the output, if the input signal is delayed, you can understand what is delay. This operation in the with minus, that is shifting in the right hand side. So this input signal, if you delay this signal and whatever you get, if both of the responses are same, that means the system is time invariant. Now let us explain more clearly what actually linearity and what is time invariance. Now what you are going to do, if you want to test a signal, test a system whether it is linear or not, what you are going to do? The first step, you will follow this sequences. So you will use superposition. Superposition then means you need more than one input. So you will take two inputs. Okay. So we are taking x1 and x2, two inputs. Now what we are going to do? We will take homogeneity principle, that is whether I will take a constant value alpha 1 and alpha 2 and multiplying it with the input. So now I am taking a summer, and so what is coming in the summer? In the summer, alpha 1 x1 n is coming and alpha 2 x2 n is coming. So this is the input, alpha 1 x1 n plus alpha 2 x2 n. These two inputs are now feeding to the system. Understand? Now, so I have taken two inputs and I have multiplied them with two coefficients, then add them up. Now I am putting them into a system and I am getting the output. Suppose this output is y1. Understand? Now I will follow the second step. What I will do? I will take the system in the two branches and I will put the inputs through the system first. So I will get x1 here. What is output? This will be transfer function interacting with the input x1 n. Okay, now this will be multiplied with alpha 1. So now here alpha 1 into transfer function of x1 n is coming. Similarly, another input will be processed in the similar way. Now I will put these two signals in a summer and I will get another output, that is y2. Now, if what I get in the first arrangement, y1 gives the same result for the second arrangement, y2, then the system will be linear. If this arrangement y1 is not equal to the output for the second arrangement, then the system will be non-linear. I will give you example. You just understand these two steps. I will give you examples in another video. Understand? Next is how can you understand or how you will test whether a system is time invariant or not. How you will test whether a system is time invariant or time variant. First, the step 1. What will you do? You will take the input to the system and you will get an output. Now you delay this, you take a delay unit. Okay, you take a delay unit. Now you put this signal through the delay unit and you will find the output. You will find a output y n minus k. That means the output is delayed by k unit. Understand? Next step, what will you do? you will take the input first and then you put the input with the in the delay unit. Naturally your input signal will be delayed. Now you put this delayed input signal to the system. You put it through the system transfer function and you will find definitely another output. Okay, now suppose this output is yn comma k. Now if the input in the first step yn minus k is equal to yn comma k, then the signal will be time invariant. Okay, but if the arrangement in the output you are getting from the first arrangement is not equal to output you are getting from the second arrangement, then the system will be time variant. Okay, so we will discuss these things with the help of some examples today. Up to this, I hope you understand what I have tried to explain in this video. Thank you.